For the review this week, I decided to choose a game at random from my ever-growing Steam library. Seriously, I don't know where most of these games come from anymore. Probably from humble bundles or something, as I swear I buy the bundle for 2 or 3 games and then get a dozen extras that I will never touch in my lifetime. Yeah, well, Terror of Hemasaurus is what I'm looking at this week. Right from the screenshots on Steam, one classic arcade game came to mind. Rampage. You know the one. The game where you climb massive buildings, destroying them and eating fleshy humans in the process. But yeah, Hema sounded like a modern take on it. There are 2 modes of play available, story mode and an endless destruction mode. I of course started with the story mode as it gives you a nice tutorial to give you the basics. You play as a massive kaiju that awakens from an iceberg. This happening after a heated debate between a scientist and rich kid corporate bigwig on the threats of climate control. Yeah, this game gets a bit political at times, but nothing serious enough that would make people get into increasingly heated arguments. Actually, scratch that. Just mentioning the word politics throws some people into a frenzy. Anywho, when the kaiju awakens, it just so happens to do so on a remote island, and as luck would have it, a crazed cult resides here, and they say they have been waiting for you. So they walk you through the steps on saving the planet by destroying it, because apparently that would save humanity by uniting people to fight global warming or something like that. It's actually a pretty deep storyline for such a small game, and it does make you think a little bit. At least, it did for me, but I'm a simple human being and I don't want to spoil the plot any further. Once you are done with the tutorial, you are released into the world. Every stage will have an objective or 2, normally requiring a certain amount of destruction. You have multiple ways to take down the skyscrapers. You have a standard punch and kick, which you'll be using pretty frequently. Hema can pick up humans, after which you can either throw them away or eat them to regain a bit of health. If you are in the air, you can hold down and the kick button to do a supersonic butt stomp, causing a pretty hefty amount of chaos. What I really enjoyed about the game is the absolute amount of debauchery that you can cause. The buildings are made up of tiles of sorts and will act accordingly. If you take out a section of a skyscraper, you might be able to get it to fall into the next structure, possibly creating a chain reaction. What starts as a nice peaceful cityscape will quickly turn into a fiery inferno, complete with pixelated blood, smoke, and glass. It's just so cool to watch it all happen. Of course, you can't just do this all uncontested. Although there isn't much to harm you early on, later stages feature military units and law enforcement, all of them well equipped to try to take you down. It was rare that I died in the game, but you do have a health meter, along with 2 spare lives in case you do fall. Just kick a vehicle at the attacking forces and you probably won't have much of a threat left. If all poopy does hit that proverbial fan, you also have a special attack that can be built up by causing chaos and eating people. This attack, honestly, does the job, but it's kind of underwhelming since it's just a roar. Yeah, that's right. A roar. Why not laser beams that get fired from your spines, or superheated fire breath, or an atomic tail whip? Yeah, the roar does cause windows to shatter, bullets to deflect away, and helicopters to alter their flight path, but I feel like there were just so many better options. Once you play the first few stages, you'll pretty much have seen it all, just with larger buildings, more dangers, and slightly harder objectives. So why would you keep playing then? Again, the story. It's very well written, and it has an odd way of combining the fact that it's a game with the cult versus humanity plotline. There are mid-stage scenes in which you get a glimpse of the developer pitching the game, and one of the best ones is where a panel complains that the game needs to be heavily censored for it to be a success. Yet later, the same developer is kidnapped by the cultists and eaten alive. What? Either way, the presentation is phenomenal, and it does blend together well. I especially love the line where you are told to practice your ultimate technique in New Jersey, because, as they say, this whole place can go, nobody will miss anything here. Being that I live in PA about 30 minutes from the Jersey border, I kinda got a kick out of that. I really only have one complaint with Terror of Hemasaurus. For a game that cost $12 at the time of this writing, it's far too short. I was able to complete the story mode in roughly 2 hours. Yes, I enjoyed every second of those 2 hours, and there is the endless mode, but I wanted more story. I don't know how that would have worked, but maybe we could have had more enemy types, or more unlockable special moves, or building types. Sure, we have access to 4 different kaiju, but those are available right from the start. Regardless of the length, Terror of Hemasaurus is a fantastic game. The destruction available to you is really enjoyable, and the story, although engaging, doesn't take itself seriously, throwing lots of humorous moments into the game to remind us that humanity as a whole is seriously flawed. I will admit that it's kinda hard to recommend as a full-price game due to the length of the main campaign, but if you can catch it as part of a bundle like I probably did, or on a decent sale, and you enjoy the classic arcade game Rampage, then Terror of Hemasaurus will be an enjoyable romp through the US. Final score? 6 out of 7. This is Reaper. Happy fragging.